Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where we actually pick up with Volume 4. Now, Volume 4 starts off with Goldar currently being used for an experiment. Now, here's the thing. Goldar hates the idea of being used for an experiment by Finster. Finster is another character in Rita's army, kind of like the scientist or the creator of all the different kind of creatures that Rita used as a way to attack the Power Rangers. Now, when it comes to Finster, he realized that he could do something new and interesting with Goldar, except Goldar hates the idea of being used for this kind of experiment. But you have Rita tell Goldar that he has no choice. As a matter of fact, this is the perfect time to say this. When it comes to Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comic, Rita is a whole lot harder on Goldar than she is in the TV show. But on top of that, Goldar really does not like Rita, but at the same time, he's still trying to please Rita because Rita is his queen, is his boss. He's trying his best to please his boss, even though he hates her guts with a flaming passion. Either way, she does tell Goldar that he has no choice but to go ahead and let Finster work on this experiment on him. Now, you then have Finster find something else that could possibly help Rita defeat the Power Rangers. And so we have to jump over to Tommy and Billy. Now, when we do, we get reminded that currently they are stuck in another universe, on another Earth. On this Earth, Rita was able to take over the entire planet. Now, the reason why she was able to do that because of Lord Drakkon. Now, remember, in this universe, Lord Drakkon is just the evil version of Tommy that never turned good. Matter of fact, when he was offered a chance to become a good guy and join the rest of the Power Rangers, he decided to work alongside with Rita to take over the entire Earth. Now, with that being said, when it comes to our heroes from the main universe, the main Power Ranger universe, Tommy and Billy are stuck here in this dark universe trying to find a way home. Except at the end of Volume 3, they were confronted by Zach, Aisha, Trini, and also Bulk from this universe. Now, here's the thing, because our heroes have no idea who Aisha is, but as fans, we know who she is because sooner or later down the road, she'll become a Yellow Ranger. Except in this universe, she never did. Either way, we kind of find out that Zach is trying to lead an army against Lord Drakkon's army and also Rita's army to hopefully bring them both down. But the thing is, his army is getting their butt kicked left and right. And so unfortunately, he has no idea what to do, but he believes that Billy and Tommy from the main universe could possibly help him finally defeat Lord Drakkon and also Rita. And so he allows them to come back to their base, their secret base. Oh, by the way, because of Saba, the White Ranger sword, he says you can trust these two guys. Now, that part right there is very crucial for a later chapter. But once they're able to get back to the base, we kind of find out that Trini does not like the idea of Billy and also Tommy being able to gain access to their base. So she's very upset with Zach from this universe. But you have Zach remind her that he is the leader of their group, and he believes that our Tommy, our Billy, could be the key to finally defeat Lord Drakkon. Now, we also kind of find out that something happened to Billy in this universe. And the reason why I'm saying that because the way Trini of this world is acting towards Billy, where you have Billy trying his best to be so friendly to her, she's kind of like, no, I cannot be your friend, and she walks away. But then we pick up with Lord Drakkon. Now, when we do, we are currently seeing how upset he truly is about the idea that our Tommy, our Billy, was able to get away, but they got away with the Falcon Zord and also Saba, the White Ranger sword. And so with those two things being gone, you currently have Lord Drakkon very upset about the idea of them being gone. And so he's hoping to find Zach army base to finally stop Zach, but to also get back the two things that he had lost. Now that is when he is confronted by Scorpina. Now when it comes to Scorpina, she does work under Rita, but she also kind of works under Lord Drakkon as well. Either way, when it comes to Scorpina, she begins to question Lord Drakkon's actual leadership skills, meaning that she feels like he is a horrible leader, that sooner or later, thanks to his kind of leadership, it could bring down his entire empire and possibly Rita's as well. But either way, that is the moment you have Lord Drakkon tell Scorpina he does have some good news for her, that he was able to locate the base that Zack's army is currently using, where our Tommy and where our Billy is currently hiding out at. And so sooner or later, it's going to be Lord Drakkon finally getting rid of Zack's army once and for all. But then we have to jump back over to the main universe, where we pick up with our Power Rangers, Jason, Kimberly, Trini, and also Zack as well. Now, if you may have forgotten the reason why they are all Green Rangers, see what happened was these Rangers lost their connection to the Morphin grid, but Tommy did not. And so you had Tommy try his best to kind of recharge their ability to reconnect to the Morphin grid, but unfortunately it did not work. Instead, it turned all of them into Green Power Rangers. Either way, you have Trini trying her best to hopefully find a way to bring Tommy and Billy back to this universe. But the problem is though, she's not as techie as Billy was, but she's still trying her best. Now, while she is doing that, we see Zack and Jason just trying to blow off some steam right now by fighting against each other, because currently they're both upset about the idea of two team members who are now lost in time. But on top of that, they lost Alpha and they also lost Gordon as well. And so these two guys are just trying to find any way to release their stress, but to hopefully get back to work to finally stop Rita, but to get their friends back home. Now, that is the moment where you actually do have Jason admit that he feels like he's not a great leader. Now, the reason why he feels like this is because what's happening to the team currently. You have two team members who are stuck somewhere else in time. Zordon is still missing, and Alpha is not really there, but he is there. And so you kind of have Jason feel like he is a failure as a leader. But you have Kimberly say, you're not a failure. You believe that everything should be perfect. But the thing is, not everything is going to be perfect. That no matter what, as a leader or not, you're going to have obstacles. It's up to you to find a way over those obstacles so that you are able to continue on. And so once she says that, we see Jason once again motivated to be the leader of the Power Rangers. Now, with that being said, you have Jason realize that Kimberly kind of likes Tommy. He's all like, dude, it's really obvious you like Tommy. Go ahead and try to make a move. Now, with that being said, you have Alpha actually call up the Power Rangers. Now, when he does, he tells the Power Rangers he found a way for them to break into Rita's castle. If they're able to do that, they might be able to get a surprise attack off that could possibly defeat Rita once and for all. But getting back over to the dark dimension, we actually do pick up with Billy finding out what happened to his counterpart from this universe, where he finds out that his counterpart was basically killed off by Lord Drakkon. Actually, to the back, he has no idea what actually happened to him. All he knows is that his counterpart died, and that is it. He has no idea if Lord Drakkon has killed him, because he does go downstairs to talk to Trini and ask her what happened to my counterpart from this universe. We did get a flashback, except this flashback is really used more as a way to kind of show us how Zack knows so much about Saba, because apparently when it came to Lord Drakkon, when he was going to give Zack the killing blow, he was actually saved by Saba. Saba saved Zack but then disappeared, except before he did disappear, he told Zack that sooner or later he'll come back with reinforcements, with some help. but the people that he's going to bring are going to be very crucial when it comes to defeating Lord Drakkon. And lo and behold, it's our Billy and our Tommy. And so that is why Zack believes in our Tommy and Billy could be the key to actually defeat Lord Drakkon. Except that is the moment where you have Bulk appear. And when Bulk does appear, he comes here to warn Zack and Tommy that Lord Drakkon have found their base, which means that this is Lord Drakkon trying to get rid of Zack's army once and for all. But back in the main universe, we do see the other Power Rangers getting ready to attack Rita's base because they believe that Alpha had apparently found a way inside her castle to do some kind of surprise attack. The problem is though, even though they are talking to Alpha, Alpha is being controlled by Finster. And so currently right now, it's our Power Rangers about to walk into a trap but have no idea because they believe that they are actually having a conversation with Alpha. And so as we dive into the second chapter, we actually pick up with our Rangers back in the main universe arriving at the base of Rita. The problem is though, when they do arrive, well, they are confronted by clones of Godar. Yeah, you heard that right, clones of Godar. And so unfortunately, our heroes have to fight against a small army of Godars, which one was already a problem. But now you are talking about the idea of an army coming at them all at once. But getting back over to the Dark Universe, we actually pick up with our heroes trying their best to defend their base against the forces of Lord Drakkon. Now the thing is, they do have cannons they could possibly use as a way to kind of help them defend their base, but the problem is right now those cannons are offline. Somebody would have to go out of their way to reset the cannons by hand so that they'll be able to be used as a way to defend this actual base. And so you have Tommy, our Tommy, say, let me go out there and try to reset the cannons. Now he does ask Zack for permission to bring Saba along with him because Saba and him do have a game plan that could possibly work to get Tommy over to the cannons to hopefully reset them. But getting back over to our heroes who are currently fighting against an army of Godars, well, unfortunately they're having a very hard time. And the reason why, because when it comes to these Godar clones, no matter what they do to them, they're able to heal up. Literally, no matter what they do, because you have our Rangers try their best to cut off limbs of these clones of Godars, except they are able to grab their limbs and reattach them to their bodies. And so unfortunately, our heroes can't do much against the army of Godars. Now you do have our Rangers in the main universe realize they have to escape, except when they try to escape and to get back to the surface, well, unfortunately, they are confronted by more clones of Godars, except they're in Megazord size. And so our Rangers are definitely in some trouble right now. But getting back over to the Dark Universe, you have our heroes trying to make their way over to the cannons. Matter of fact, when it comes to Billy and Trini, they're going to split away from Tommy and Bulk, and the reason why, because they're trying to fix the shields the base has as well, because the shields are also not working properly either. And so when it comes to our heroes, they have to split up, but unfortunately they're getting hit by the forces of Lord Drakkon's army. Now luckily for our heroes, they do have something on their side, the Falcon Zord, and once it does appear, it is able to make a clear path for our heroes to go down and then split up to accomplish their different tasks. But while you have Trini and Billy currently working on the shields, that is the moment where you have Trini tell us that Lord Drakkon is also here for the last relic. Now when it comes to the last relic, we were not told what that was earlier, but now we're going to find out that Trini of this universe has her hands on the Blue Ranger power coin. And that is very important because in this universe, Lord Drakkon was able to basically get his hands on the other power coins except this one. And so that is why he's trying so hard to get to this base right here, to get the last power coin, the Blue Ranger one, because apparently the Billy of this universe was able to give it to Trini of this universe before he was killed off by Lord Drakkon. But getting back over to the main universe, we do see our Rangers trying to use their Zords as a way to fight against the Goldars. Unfortunately, there's too many of the Goldars for our Rangers to actually handle. As a matter of fact, they don't have the blue Ranger Zord here at all. They only have their respective Zords, and so currently they are failing. Now, it does come down to the point where Trini is pulled out of her Zord and then being brought over to Rita, and so now Trini from the main universe is now a hostage of Rita. Back in the Dark Universe, you still have Tommy trying his best to reset the actual canons, except that is the moment where he is confronted by Lord Drakkon. It's Tommy versus Tommy time. But unfortunately, you have Lord Drakkon being the one to bring down the Falcon Zord for one, but to also defeat our Tommy very easily. And so unfortunately, it does look like Tommy might be killed off by his evil counterpart. But you have Lord Drakkon tell everyone that if they are able to hand over the Blue Ranger power coin, he will let Tommy live. Now at first, when it comes to the rest of our heroes in the Dark World, they're kind of like, no, we are not going to give him the black power coin. The blue power coin, sorry about that. But the thing is, Tommy's life is on the line here. And so unfortunately, you have Billy walk out with the power coin in his hand and getting ready to hand it over to Lord Drakkon, which means that as soon as he does that, Lord Drakkon is going to be crowned the winner of this battle between the heroes and him. And so getting into the third chapter is really more about the idea of focusing on Zordon. Now remember, we have not seen Zordon in a very long time. We were left to wonder what happened to him when the actual command center was blown up. And we kind of find out he was pushed out of time. Literally, he's sitting outside of time, where he is able to observe other timelines from other universes. And so this is Zordon currently observing what happened in the Dark Universe, where Lord Drakkon and also Rita were able to take over that Earth, where he saw his counterpart always believed in the idea that good would conquer against evil. And so no matter what happened to him and his Rangers in that universe, that Zordon just kept trying his best over and over again. But the counterpart to our Zordon, the one in the Dark Universe, he still believed that Tommy could be saved, that Tommy could become a good Ranger and help the other Rangers fight against Rita. We already know that didn't happen. And matter of fact, we get the chance to see what happened to that Zordon of that universe. Lord Drakkon killed him off easily. Now, when it comes to the other Zordon, he didn't die just right away. Matter of fact, just like our Zordon, he was pushed outside of time, except that Zordon is dying very slowly. Except before he dies, he is confronted by our Zordon, who is wondering about a few things. Like, for example, why did you keep trying? Like, that's the question our Zordon is asking the other Zordon. Like, why did you keep trying? Because no matter what you did, you guys always failed. And you have the other Zordon say, because I still had hope. I believe that sooner or later, one day down the road, good would defeat evil. But the thing is, we had to wait for the right time. And so when it came to my Rangers, I believed in them. I believed in the idea that sooner or later, they would find a way to actually defeat Rita, defeat Lord Drakkon. But I had to keep that hope going for us all. And so you have this other Zordon say, you need to do the same thing as well. Do not let go of that hope. Keep that hope there for yourself, but for your Rangers as well, because that hope is strong. And as long as you have that hope, sooner or later, good is going to conquer evil. And matter of fact, he says, that is why I kept that hope there for, because I know down the road, good might be able to defeat evil. I might not be there to see it, but I still believe in good. And then you have that other Zordon die in front of our Zordon. Now that is the moment where you have Saba appear. Now when Saba does appear, he only came here looking for his Zordon, to only find out that his Zordon is no longer around, which was a huge shock to him. But now he's confronted by our Zordon, and you have our Zordon say, I was able to look at your timeline and realize what you guys have gone through, but I also was able to see y'all's future. And I realized my Rangers from my time will come to your time and help you guys defeat your enemy, which is currently Drakkon. And so I need you to go back to your time and make sure the Rangers there who are still alive do not lose hope, that sooner or later help will come. And so you have Saba go back to that time and tell Zack that one day down the road he'll come back with help to help Zack defeat Lord Drakkon. And matter of fact, we saw that at the very beginning of Volume 4, the ending of Volume 3, when Zack was confronted by R. Billy and R. Tommy. When that happened, it shows Zack that what Saba said way back then was true. And in Volume 4, this volume right here, it brought it back up again. That Saba told Zack, I would come back sooner or later with help. It was Tommy and Billy. But the thing is, Zordon said the Rangers, meaning like probably the rest of the Rangers, will also come over to that universe to help out the other Rangers who are still alive in that universe get rid of Lord Drakkon. Now, as we jump into the final chapter for today's video, the opening pages of the final chapter, it does jump back and forth between two different settings. So the first one is, of course, Billy getting ready to surrender over to Lord Drakkon, while you have the other setting, really more Trini, being held hostage by Rita. Now, at first, the opening section of the fourth and final chapter does look really bad for both of our groups of heroes, except by the end of the sections, you did have our heroes being able to break free against their enemies. Now, when it comes to Trini, she was actually able to call in the Black Dragon armor suit. The Black Dragon armor suit was technically used by Lord Drakkon in the first volume of this series when he first arrived in the main universe. Now, after he was defeated and went back to his universe, he left behind the Black Dragon armor suit there. And so she was able to kind of rework it in a way where she can call for it if she's ever in a tight situation like she currently is right now. And so you have the suit fly over to her to basically help her break free from Rita's control. But when it comes to Billy, he realized that Lord Drakkon used the same kind of technology for the Black Dragon armor suit on all the robots that he has in his army as well. Even the guys who work for Lord Drakkon, their armor suits are using the same technology that he used on the Black Dragon. And so with that being said, when it comes to Billy, he was able to find a way to shut down all the different robots that were being controlled by the same technology that Lord Drakkon used. And so that helps our heroes here being able to get the upper hand on Lord Drakkon. But now we can focus on the Rangers in the main universe, because with those Rangers, they are actually able to get the upper hand on Rita, because once you have Trini being able to break free from Rita's control, she was also able to charge up the Blue Ranger power coin. With that happening, his Zord appears. With all 5 Zords being there, they can now make the Megazord and to hopefully defeat all the different clones of Godar, which they actually do. Now, when it comes to Rita, she realized that she does not stand a chance at all. And so she goes ahead and get the heck out of there before she basically gets captured. Now, when it comes to Godar, he does kill off the last clone that was alive after the Rangers had killed off the other ones, to kind of say that he hated the idea of clones of him being used as a way to fight the Rangers. He feels like he's the only Godar that should be around. He is the perfect version of himself. But getting back over to the Dark Universe, we do see Tommy and Billy and the rest of the army that Zack had built in this universe being able to get the upper hand on Lord Drakkon and his army. Now, when it comes to Lord Drakkon, he still believes that he is going to win. And the reason why, because Tommy, our Tommy, is relying too much on his friends. If he wants to be able to become a great fighter, a great person, he has to only rely on himself, and that is it. But for Tommy, that is not okay. That in reality, you should always have your friends there, because sometimes those friends can help you get back up when you fall back down. And so that is the moment you have the rest of the Rangers from the main universe come over to this universe to help out Tommy and the rest of the forces of Zack to fight against Lord Drakkon and his army. Now, this fight does not last that long. And matter of fact, you have Lord Drakkon go ahead and sacrifice himself by falling off a cliff and leaving us wondering if he actually is dead. Now, the story does wrap up very quickly, and what I mean by that is you do have our Rangers being able to reunite with one another. And once you have our Rangers say goodbye to the other Rangers from the Dark Universe, or Lord Drakkon's universe, you have the Rangers go back to their universe, the main Power Ranger universe. And when they do arrive, of course, you do have to be very happy about the idea that Zordon, our Zordon, has also returned to that universe as well. And the same thing for Alpha as well. And so it seems like the Rangers could possibly now be happy to have their lives be somewhat normal again after fighting against Lord Drakkon and Rita for a long period of time. But right before the story actually ends, we do see Lord Drakkon did arrive in another universe. But the thing is, we have no idea where he actually arrived at. It could be the main universe or a different one. The only thing we do know is that as soon as he wakes up and looks around, he is surrounded by men with guns. And then that is it. And so this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.